Good evening, folks. I am Joe Bachman. This is a special edition Behind the Code. This is pre-recorded, so comments won't be read live or anything. I do have a meeting tonight that I have to attend. That's why I'm doing a pre-recorded show. But I know I haven't done Behind the Code in recent weeks, mainly because there really hasn't been anything to do. I'm still learning Flutter and Dart. Once I get more of that under my belt, I will probably start doing shows again. Um, they might be in a slightly different format where I'm not constantly reading the comments. It'd be more like Nick's Art Time with Nick, where he's working on stuff and then he'll go back and read some of the comments. Um, because I'll have to be able to focus more on the actual code. And I know trying to focus on that while, trying to read comments or even having Dawn read the comments, my brain is trying to do too many things at once. Um, so there, like I said, might be a slightly different variation of Behind the Code coming. Might not. I might just keep it the same. Uh, However, with it being the end of the year, today is December 30th. We got New Year's Eve tomorrow. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on how IndieCD is doing. And I think for this year, we have done very, very well. Um, looking at the various months over the last year, if it'll load. There it goes. So like for the last 6 months, we've been cranking out some good numbers. December was kind of slow, which is odd, but um, I was hoping to see a higher number for December. But the important part is to me is the year to date numbers, because this shows that we are growing, that more people are looking at the site. We don't count 2022 because in all actuality, I started this at the end of 2022. Um, so that really doesn't count. But for 2023, we had 696 visitors with 2,596 page views, which I think for our first year was actually really good. This year, we have had 836 visitors with 3,004 page views. Um, Now, the views per visitor is down a little bit, but we still got more views, which hopefully has helped the sales of some of your guys' wares. Um, IndieCD is all about trying to support the independent creators. And I'm hoping in the coming year, I will be able to do more with this site. Um, Try and keep some of the front page stuff more fresh. I've been really bad this year with trying to remember to update the slider with like the featured uh, creator or the featured category. Um, so I'm gonna try and do better with that this coming year. Um, but hopefully, you know, getting IndieCD out there more. We are uh, on Wednesday nights now going through and we're not only running the behind the Burning His Yarn stream on the IndieCD channels, Dawn's channels, Trelena's channels, but we're also on the Madness Comic Network, um, which is turning into the Madness Entertainment Group. Uh, so we're on with them, um, and I'm hoping that with being on their network also, that if there's a way of generating revenue, then you know it'll get your guys' stuff out to a larger audience. And that's, the big thing I want to do is get you guys out there more. Um, I just realized my hair is kind of floofy. Um, but I want to get you guys out there more. I want you guys to make more. Um, I'm hoping to get more signups for IndieCD. I want to see this grow further. Um, and there is one thing I may end up doing. I've been toying around with the idea as much as I hate it, but I may add ads to the site just to help generate some revenue. Now, with that being said, it will not be like a lot of these sites where you got an ad at the top, ads down the sides, ads across the bottom. No, this is going to be minimal. This is going to be, showing up in the footer section. It's not even going to be at the top of the page. Um, and it would be Google ads. So, uh, but that would just be down at the bottom of the page. So unless someone actually scrolls all the way down, they're never going to see it anyway. Um, but it's something that I need to do to try and generate a little bit more money for IndieCD. Because I refuse to go to a setup where it's a monthly fee of any kind. I'm going to stick with the lifetime fee. Now, if the ads end up generating enough revenue to uh, cover the site, and the site, grows enough, then, further down the line, I may look at, moving it over to like IMDb, where it's just a free site, and, I would actually slowly give back all the money that people had put in. Uh, so that's just those are things that are way further down the road. Um, but there's some good things coming. Um, Monday nights, at least for the foreseeable future, are still open for anybody who wants to uh, go through and stream. That night is uh, probably going to remain open as long as I don't have something to do. And even if I do have something to do, then uh, I'll just figure out another time to do it. Uh, the other thing I wanted to kind of go through here, let me pull this over to this screen so I can see what I'm doing. Why is that still up? That's weird. Huh, okay. Um, let's share this window real quick. Um, so one of the things you guys have heard me talk about a lot lately is Flutter and Dart. Now, what is Flutter and Dart? Dart is actually a language that allows for easily creating cross-platform applications. Um, so you basically have one code set where you can create something that'll work on not just mobile devices like iOS and Android, but you can create something that'll work on iOS, Android, the Mac operating system, Windows, Linux, and even web browsers, all with one set of code. And this this with Flutter is what is more, if I'm remembering this correctly, Flutter is what allows for even more modifications and makes everything look nicer, especially on mobile. Um, so there's tons of different what they call widgets. What you're seeing here on screen right now is a very basic, I mean, extremely basic app that let me see. There is a way to zoom in here. I just got to remember how to do it. How the hell do I zoom in here? Oh, really? That's what they went with? Okay. Um, doot, doot, doot. Um, so like I said, this is a very extremely basic app, so basic that really if you load it, all it shows is a green background. Um, but oh, that's the other thing I like is you can actually set a color and then hold over it, and you can actually modify. That's more Visual Studio though. But um, one of the let me do this. Let's zoom that out for a second. Let me open another folder, and we'll just open the dice roller. So this was one of the first apps that had us create in the tutorial. Um, and as you can see, I've been going through and making a lot more comments this time as I go through and do stuff. Um, but it's basically 4 files that create this little app along with the 6 image files. Um, and then each thing controls a different part. So your main, always have one that's called main.dart, and that is your main file that kind of tells the app how to run. It goes through and branches out and grabs information from all these other little Dart files that you create. Uh, for instance, gradient container is the file that allows for the creation of the gradient background. Dice roller is the one that allows for the random number generation and will actually control what dice image is shown on there based on the random number that's chose. And then styled text is exactly how it sounds. It just kind of styles the text. So, but when you do all that, and let's do this, let's do run without debugging, and we'll see if this is going to work the way I think it will. And actually, while that runs, because that will sometimes take a hot second, let's run a quick ad.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
All right, so that built, and it is now open on the emulator, uh, which I can't really zoom this in, so we're gonna have to kind of go with how it looks here. But uh, this is what all that code that you just saw, minus all the green area there, because that's just my comments on why we're doing, how stuff is there, why stuff is there. Um, creates this nice little dice roll app, and you just click where it says roll dice, and it'll generate a random number and pull up that particular dice image. And of course, sometimes you click and it generates the same number, a couple times, but that is essentially, a very basic dice rolling app. Um, and I plan to use part of this code at some point to kind of update the dice rolling apps that I've already created, and hopefully, come out with better versions of those. So, um, yeah, there's a lot of neat things that can be done here, and making it to where it can be used on multiple devices with one set of code is going to be great. It's going to help out a lot. The current app, or the most recent one that it had me do, was a quiz app. This one had a little bit more to it. And why is that? Am I not actually calling that screen? I must not be. Huh. Um, there's actually a couple files in here because I was going through, and the tutorials will occasionally say, here, pause the video and give this a try to go through and figure out how to do this yourself. So there's a couple files in here that aren't actually needed anymore, but um again, you got your main Dart file, which, as you can see here, is a lot slimmer than the other one was. This one actually just says, you know what, we're just going to leave this main Dart file, fairly blank. We're going to move everything over to quiz. And that's where you get into, you know, the main widget essentially, um, which you have a stateful widget, which there's two different types of widget. You got the stateful widget and the stateless widget. Stateless widgets are very basic. Those are more used in, as you can see here, the gradient container. Uh, there's really nothing changing inside of this. Once this is set, it's done. Whereas on the quiz.dart file, because this is now essentially your main screen, this is what people are going to see when the app first loads. It needs to be a stateful widget, and a stateful widget allows for things to change. You can call up other screens. You can, have the text change. You can have, well, prime example is the dice roller app that I just showed. That is a uh, app that has a stateful widget in it that allows you to, every time you hit roll dice, it rebuilds that screen with the new image in it. So you always have, your first class is a stateful widget, and which actually ties into your second class, which is a state widget that ties back into your first one. So your first class generally doesn't have too much in it, at least from what I've seen so far. Um, the state widget beneath it, though, uh, is where a lot of the building components go in. And as you can see here, you got your material app, which we saw in the other ones. This is what builds the screen. Um, the question screen, I actually haven't gotten through the whole section of the tutorial yet, so there's really not much here. Um, but once you hit the start quiz button from the other screen, this screen would then pop up and have the different questions and answers on it. And then you have the start screen, which is also part of the quiz.dart, where it's the main thing that you're going to see when everything pops up. And if we do this one, which is just going to take a second also. So let's go ahead and play one more ad here real quick. We're going to run Foxy's ad.
Hi, I'm Auntie Foxy, and I'm a crafting addict. I make custom jewelry from recycled materials, and Foxy has wares if you have coin. You can find me at indiecd.org/about-anti-foxy. I hope to see you there.
And that was about perfect as far as timing goes. So this is the basic app that you just saw the code for. And right now we hit start screen or start quiz. It takes us to the next screen, which up here in the very corner, it says question screen, which is the question screen.dart file that you saw earlier that I said didn't have much code in it yet with the questions. It actually needs a lot more code to it, not only to add the questions in, but to, not just have everything up here in this top little corner. So, there's more work to be done on that. But there's so many things here that are going to be possible for me to do, and apps that I'm going to be able to create that will not only help my day job, but will help with also, other things. I can create dice rolling apps for various games. I can create, um, one of the things I'm creating for work is a mileage tracking app. And I could even build off of that and make an app that'll let you keep track of, your characters for various tabletop games. Uh, there's a lot that I can do, and I'm hoping to be able to do that here in the future and be able to share that here live on stream. Um, but with that, I I was trying to drag this out to about a half hour long. I'm going to be about 5 minutes short probably by the time I'm done rambling here. But I just want to give you guys an update on IndieCD, kind of show you what I have been working on. We are still going to continue Wednesday nights with Burning His Yarn, where Trelane will be doing some form of crochet. I will either be doing wood burning or 3D printing, or possibly both. Um, but I'm going to try and have stuff. I'm going to try and start printing at least one thing off to be painting during the stream, and having other things print also at the same time. With that, folks, I do hope you have a great New Year's Eve. Be safe out there if you do go out. Hopefully, your holidays were enjoyable with your friends and family. And with that, we will see you guys next year. Have a great night.